Today we are back for another Switzerland reaction video. This one is called How Switzerland Became Unconquerable. I like that description, but it also, I like that word, but also how it intrigues me. How did it become that way? So from now I will be, if you see in the description, I might do a pinned comment of it as well. I'll leave a link where you can come and give basically video suggestions. I've been a bit, I've just never done that before. I've just gone off comments and maybe videos I see pop up related to certain subjects or countries. But I wanted to do one specifically for Switzerland, as I noticed the videos are a bit more niche and there's not as many compared to other countries or other subjects like music maybe that I react to. Any videos from Switzerland, from learning about the country, even music, funny videos, just anything you'd like me to see. And we'll build up some more Swiss videos on the channel. So let's get right into this one though. Okay, and this video itself, I'll leave a link for it if you're just coming across my video and haven't seen it and you want to watch it for yourself. It's almost 3 million views, and this is since 2021, so that's quite good in this period of time.
Switzerland is the most unconquerable country on Earth.
Wow.
And this isn't a new thing. It's been this way for centuries. No one has even dared to try for a very long time. Not even...
Yeah, see, as well, I'm not sure how different I'll be from Americans. I know there's a lot of Americans that do reactions. I'm from Australia. But we didn't really learn much about Switzerland, like in school and even after school. Generally, I didn't really learn too much about Switzerland, specifically. Like Europe maybe a bit more as a whole, but I wouldn't have a whole list of facts about Switzerland, especially when it's like their history and stuff. So let's find out today.
Hitler wanted to try, dared to try for a very long time.
Course.
Not even Hitler wanted to try.
The main man.
And knowing what I know now, I completely understand this reluctance to invade Switzerland. It's not that they'll get angry per se, it's more so the fact that if anyone chooses to go to war with Switzerland, they'll have to deal with bombs. And no, I don't mean the Swiss-German language, that is the equivalent of an atomic bomb for your ears.
Viele liebe Grüße aus Zürich, in der Schweiz.
I mean real bombs, but they won't be pointed at the enemy though. Instead, the Swiss will target themselves with these bombs. Now obviously they won't bomb their own cities where people live. Instead, they'll bomb their marvelous infrastructure. Roads.
That's a twist. Okay. I'm interested to see where this goes.
Infrastructure. Roads, bridges, tunnels, you name it. Switzerland has TNT, explosives and bombs in any and all of the infrastructure that leads into the country. Which might sound insane, and it is. But Switzerland is serious about staying out of conflicts. And since there are only a few ways you can get into Switzerland by land, as a result of the mountains surrounding the majority of the country, the Swiss saw this as a golden opportunity to create what they saw as a necessary defense mechanism in order to keep Hitler out. And keep him out, they did.
I mean, you can only imagine what you'll be thinking about this man. I don't even want to say his name on YouTube. But sounds like Switzerland got creative in how they approached it, in defending their country from people.
Defense mechanism in order to keep Hitler out. And keep him out, they did. But part of the reason why Switzerland never got conquered by big European superpowers back when they were expanding right at their doorstep is that those same European superpowers decided it would probably be a good idea to have a buffer zone between them. Switzerland became that buffer zone. And since then, they've been a neutral power in the center of Europe. By neutral, I of course mean insanely neutral. They aren't part of NATO or the EU, and they only became part of the UN 19 years ago. They don't send their troops to fight in any wars, even though they're actually...
Oh, that's one. Yeah, from a few different countries, I've done reactions like to their military. So I might learn a little bit here, but if there's military-specific videos, let me know. But yeah, just go back there.
They don't send their troops to fight in any wars, even though they're actually really good at fighting, as we can see from their history. Back in the day, other European nations would actually hire Swiss men to fight for them in wars. But they put an end to that when they lost a big war to France a few hundred years ago. These days, Switzerland...
So there may not be too many, military-related stuff. We'll find out.
Switzerland doesn't fight. Yet still, they can raise an army of 800,000 almost instantly. And even though they are unlikely to ever fight in any wars, the Swiss army is, to say it mildly, pretty remarkable. You know, there is a saying, Switzerland does not have an army. Switzerland is an army, which refers to the fact that it has compulsory military service for all Swiss men. But that's not even...
Sometimes I just need to listen and get all the information. I'm like, well, but it sounded like they don't fight a lot, but then we've got some big information here.
To the fact that it has compulsory military service for all Swiss men. But that's not even the crazy part. Everyone
that's so, what do you call it? Like, it's just old school. And you don't see that. Like, we don't have that here in Australia, like, compulsory for all men. And I think, in a way, it sets the standard. I don't want to go too off track, but there's some different areas I can go into. But it kind of sets the tone. Not sets the tone, but it's part of your growing up and into adulthood as a man. I can't speak that from experience, but it's like how I view it. And why it was like that for so many years. And some countries, they still operate that way too. I feel, it's just part of, it's like going to school. It's like serving in the army is, part of being a man. And in countries where it is not compulsory anymore, maybe there's impacts of that. And how men end up being in their lives. Because they didn't experience that part of growing up into adulthood, serving in the army. And obviously there's reasons for that.
In that mandatory military service up until 2007 has kept all their equipment. Everyone, and I mean everyone, kept their uniform, assault rifles and ammunition. So that if a war were to start, they would be able to instantly jump into their military uniform at home, put their assault rifle on the back and go straight to the action. In a way, it's insanely genius, but mostly...
I'm kind of in general, day to day, it's not something that I'm super passionate about and be talking about all the time. But it's like, this is when men were men. Like, and that's not the case anymore in some countries. Like I said, from Australia, I never was in the military. It's not a compulsory thing like some of these other countries. But as I said, there can be results of that. You see the benefits, and as I said, this is when men will... you always hear about men used to go to war. It's just, it's something really... I don't know. What's the best description of it? I think I just said it before as well. Just like, it's a part of becoming a man. It's an experience you go through, like schooling.
Go straight to the action. In a way, it's insanely genius, but mostly it's just insane.
Of course,
and the insanity doesn't stop there. Have you ever wondered what the Swiss might be hiding?
Wow, just hold up for a second. There's some beautiful views here, mind you. Like, look at this, absolutely beautiful.
In the mountains. It could be gold or money, which they are probably hiding some of in there. But somewhere in Switzerland, inside of a mountain, there is a secret airbase in which multiple FA-18 Hornets sit ready to take action. Just imagine a Swiss Air Force pilot firing up the engines of an FA-18 Hornet behind camouflage doors inside a mountain.
Wow, like, this looks so cool. This looks like it's from a movie or video game. Like, look at this scene right here. This looks so good. Wow.
getting ready to take off and make a surprise attack on an unsuspecting enemy that could be on his way to bombing Switzerland right now.
So they don't play, Switzerland don't play.
But little does he know, behind him a fighter jet just got released from the inside of a mountain to take him down. I don't know, it just seems like something out of a James Bond movie to me. And since it's highly classified information, where exactly this base is located, chances are enemies wouldn't notice before it's too late. We actually only know of this airbase's existence because Swiss soldiers have occasionally referred to it on social media, but they've always been requested to delete their mention of the airbase promptly after. And as a senior Swiss officer has said, the name and location of the base are highly classified information. But knowing the Swiss, I'm not so concerned about where it is, more so how many there are, as there's probably more than one. What there's definitely more than one of are bunkers. You see, back when Hitler was taking over most of Europe, the Swiss realized they had to have a place they could retreat to in case Hitler did choose to invade. And since most of the population lives in flat and easily maneuverable terrain...
And that says a lot too. Like, well, maybe not in the most proudest way, saying he was one of the most powerful men in the world, Mr. Hitler. It took a lot, like you'd have to execute it, but the bravery where sounds like, other countries didn't do the same and they got conquered by Hitler. They had a plan and they executed so they wouldn't suffer the same fate. And even from a couple other videos I've reacted to, it's just, I really like the way Switzerland operate.
Which is a bad thing in war times, by the way. They went to the north and did choose to invade. And since most of the population lives in flat and easily maneuverable terrain, which is a bad thing in war times, by the way, they went to the mountains to build bunkers and tunnels. And while these tunnels obviously never got used for what they were intended for, they are now used for anything from aging rooms for cheese to hotels and high-tech server vaults, where you can store information that requires these to hotel.
I heard hotels, and look at this. That looks super cool. That looks so cool. And that's why, as I said, from each of these different videos I have done, that's why I expressed my interest to do some more videos about Switzerland, because they just, I know, it intrigues me a lot.
And high-tech server vaults, where you can store information that requires that extra level of security, I guess.
They seem advanced.
But bunkers aren't just limited to the Swiss Alps. You see, for a long time in Switzerland, it was required by law that when you build a house, it had to have a bunker that could fit all the people living in that house. Nowadays, the law has been changed a bit, and it states that every inhabitant must have a protected place that can be reached quickly from that person's place of residence. So basically, you either need to install a nuke-proof bunker in your basement, or you have to pay for access to a community bunker and have a designated place in one of those. What's rather curious though is that since these bunkers haven't been used and probably never will get used, the Swiss typically just use them as storage rooms, you know, to make sure your wine is safe in the off chance that a nuclear bomb decides to hit your country, or if enemy tanks come knocking at the door. Tanks, as if those could even get anywhere close to Swiss soil. Don't you think the Swiss have already thought of that? Well, of course they have. You remember the explosives from earlier, right? You know, the ones they put in place to destroy all routes going into Switzerland if necessary? Yeah, those ones. If enemy tanks get past that, then first of all, well done. And second of all, you now have to deal with these. They are called tank traps. You heard me right, tank traps.
What did I say just before? Switzerland don't play. They've literally got traps for tanks. Well, okay, I'm like laughing here, but it's like kind of disbelief, and I'm like, again, just impressed by what they come up with, and to protect their land. It's super impressive, I've said that. And I just like how they do things. Wow. Yeah, in this case, to prevent tanks, but as I said, protecting their land. Yeah, they really know what they're doing.
These are long lines of giant concrete blocks specifically designed to block out tanks. And if you go to the French-speaking region, Suisse-Romand, along the Swiss side of the lake between Geneva and Lausanne, you'll find these lines of tank traps that stretch all the way from the lakeside into the mountains. And do you see these houses? They're actually bunkers, disguised as houses. And here, the Swiss hid cannons they could use when the tanks tried to go over the tank traps. But the cannons wouldn't be pointed at the tank directly though. Instead, they would be aimed at the belly of the tank where there was little armor. It's genius, but also quite terrifying.
That's the word. That one of the words I was thinking to describe it all. Switzerland. They seem genius. Let me know if there's some brains behind it, or just like the government consecutively over years, not just like one or two specific people. And yeah, as I said, it continues that from generations. And it's more the government than specific people. But yeah, let me know. But they are genius, it seems.
Where there was little armor. It's genius, but also quite terrifying. Although I do find this one instance where Switzerland threatened Germany a tad more terrifying. You see, this river is called the Rhine. The head of this river is right here within Switzerland's borders, and it runs through a large part of Western Germany and eventually ends up here in the Netherlands. What's terrifying is that Switzerland threatened to poison the Rhine and in turn all of Germany's water if they invaded. A little aggressive Switzerland, I gotta say, but fair play. Now obviously this never happened, at least on purpose. You see, Switzerland did actually poison the Rhine in the 1980s, but that was considered an accident. But ultimately it shows the Swiss commitment to keep enemies from even thinking about invading their country.
Yeah, see, that's a lot of the actions. It's not directly defending themselves because someone's attacking, it's preventing the attack in the first place. So it doesn't happen. And then if you were in that situation where, oh, you're being attacked, then you react, they're kind of making the first move by making the defense, as I said, the first move to prevent any attacks.
There is that Hitler actually thinking about invading their country.
Yeah.
What is weird there is that Hitler actually did have a very detailed plan to invade Switzerland, and while he saw it as a challenge, it could certainly be done. So why didn't he? Well, it's quite a complex topic, and the Swiss, as well as historians, don't completely agree on why Hitler didn't attack them.
See,
some strongly believe...
And yeah, I might add that in my title, part of it, like, why didn't Hitler, or what's it like, with it, conquer or attack, take over?
Why didn't he? Well, it's called as a challenge, it could certainly be done. So why didn't he? Well, Hitler is from even thinking about invading their country.
Invading.
What is weird there is
why Hitler didn't invade Switzerland. This is a good video for that.
That Hitler actually did have a very detailed plan to invade Switzerland, and while he saw it as a challenge, it could certainly be done. So why didn't he? Well, it's quite a complex topic, and the Swiss, as well as historians, don't completely agree on why Hitler didn't attack them. Some strongly believe that it was the strong Swiss military and the redoubt strategy in the Alps that saved them. Others say it was the cooperation with Nazi Germany, as it's likely the Nazis preferred to bank with them, so they just let them stay neutral because of it. Historians say that both were needed, and that another important reason was that Germany had a hard time in Russia. Germany could have easily invaded Switzerland, but it would have cost them too many resources, which Germany just couldn't afford to lose at this time, because their Russian expedition had bad luck. The cooperation with Switzerland also proved quite useful to the Germans, as Switzerland had to deliver resources on credit to Germany, which they obviously didn't need to pay for upfront as part of a contract. Additionally, Germany could sell their gold to the Swiss National Bank in exchange for foreign currencies without proving its origin. This way they could sell gold they had stolen from countries they had invaded. In return for this, Switzerland could stay out of the war and continue trading with allies for food and coal. all, which they really needed. Now, since the war ended, these things have shown to be quite controversial. I don't personally have an opinion on this, but had Switzerland not done these things, they wouldn't have been the neutral nation we know them as today. So, the continuancy of Swiss independence and neutrality is a result of many different factors. But above all, the Swiss made sure that none of the parties in a war would benefit from attacking them. And that's the mentality they've kept to this day. Although they aren't as insane about it as they were back then. For example, the Swiss military said in 2014 that they had removed all bombs and explosives from their infrastructure. Well done, Switzerland. That's probably for the best. But in terms of bunkers and tank traps, they are all still here, because might as well be, right? You never know when theirs could become useful. But all in all, Switzerland remains the most unconquerable country on Earth as a result of its continuing desire to stay neutral. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
That's pretty, it's like really impressive. Yeah, to have that kind of label and fact about you. And yeah, this was a really good video explaining it really well. So let me know if you're Swiss yourself, you're from Switzerland, how accurate it is. Sometimes videos miss out some information, but yeah, it was really cool because I've learned a lot of things that I just didn't really know about Switzerland before. So as I said, a lot more videos. I said they've really started to intrigue me. This one especially. This was a really good video. Okay, Switzerland, I see you, and how you operate. But yeah, for me to keep learning about Switzerland, as I said, I'll leave a link for, where you can give more recommendations to discover videos. As I said, Switzerland seem a bit more niche than some other countries, but yeah, they seem like a really cool country from what I've learnt in these reactions so far. But I'm going to leave it there. Subscribe to the channel for more videos, and I'll see you in the very next one.